Infamous Jay Moore, are you in your seat and ready to go?
I am. I'm in my squeaky chair.
Can I turn the volume up on the headphone? I can't hear anything.
You could do whatever you want, Pat Porter. I don't know.
Okay. You're not in the squeaky chair?
I'm in a chair that,
squeaks.
It's just...
Yeah, okay. Well, you got.
It needs to be thrown out.
Throw it out. Throw it out. We'll get some new chairs in here.
No, we need a round of new chairs in here. We need a round of new chairs.
All these. Anybody want some chairs? Come on by. We'll give them to you. No charge.
Falling apart.
Haul them away. Yeah.
I'd probably be more comfortable sitting on a milk crate than.
I have a nice chair here.
I think that chair was probably brought in by somebody like a Paul Lemire or somebody that got sick of sitting in these chairs. Rob Repos or somebody.
Well, I got armrests on it. I got nice leather back chair.
Yeah.
And you're sitting on a broken down chair with the armrest that if you put your arm on it, you're going to fall.
That's all I got, and it's more embarrassing when we have to bring in a guest and they have to sit in the chairs. So I don't know. It may have to be milk crates all around, Pat Porter.
Anyway, we better tell everybody who we are and what we're doing. 4680q.ca, our new Tuesday show. This is our second Tuesday event.
All right.
So we'll call it
2 for Tuesday.
Episode 2.
How about that?
Tuesday,
for Tuesday.
Yeah. We're here every Tuesday night now from 8 o'clock, and it becomes a podcast. And
right.
4680q.ca or 4680q.com, and everything's available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Usually the same night or the next day.
Well, our shows are. I can't speak for anybody else at this station, but...
Well, we don't worry. We're doing our show. They can worry about their own show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I put them up myself, firsthand put them up because I know you're not going to let me say this, but I can't trust anybody. I can't trust the production team here. I got to do it myself, Pat Porter. I just got to get it instantly out there. So
you're a hands-on guy.
Yeah, whether they fire me here or they don't fire me, I'm
Nobody's going to fire you.
I'm prepared for it all. They don't like it.
Hey, if they didn't fire you for 8 years that we were doing it at Classic Rock Station, they didn't fire you.
I feel like they wanted to.
They did.
And the
and I said no.
The time that
You're not taking them off my show.
The time that we were doing a remote broadcast and I met the general manager, he steered completely clear of me. He didn't want to talk to me or anything else.
He actually liked you.
I know they say that. Yes.
I mean, there's a difference between management types. I mean,
right.
The general manager actually liked what we do.
Yeah.
And he was all for everything.
Yeah.
It was the people that were a little higher up in the chain,
right, above our pay grade.
They were worried that we were going to scare people away when what we were doing was bringing people to the radio.
Sometimes I scare people away, Pat Porter. That's just part of the business. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?
You don't like it? There's another station to listen to.
It was like, if I reflect back to my professional wrestling days, my job was to be the biggest heel wrestling manager in the area, and I successfully did that.
Yeah.
And it paid off. I had sponsors at all times.
Yeah.
And if I lost a couple sponsors, which comes with the territory, boo-hoo to me. I could care less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because of that, I don't have a job in terrestrial radio. That's what I'm trying to say.
Doesn't matter. Here we are. Worldwide.
Yeah, right.
We can be heard anywhere in the world at any time.
Yeah.
And then by tonight or tomorrow, when it becomes a podcast, you can pick that. You can choose that to listen to it. Your discretion, anytime you want. And if you like it, you can listen to it over and over again.
You can listen to it. You can fast forward it. You can rewind it. You don't have to listen to it. You can do whatever you want because I've done what I've always said I was going to do, and I've maintained that I was going to do over the 20-plus years that I've been in business, Pat Porter, is I maintain my own brand.
Yeah.
So whether promotions come and go, radio stations come and go, I own all my own stuff. I own all my own stuff, and I have every single show that we've done on YouTube, and even if I get fired from this radio station, I will still have those shows on YouTube.
Hey, you're not going anywhere.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
If they fire you, they got to fire me too. So
there's
anyway,
nothing you can do about it.
They're not going to fire both of us.
Plus,
anyway,
I have all your shows, Pat Porter.
If you'll shut up for a minute, you put a plug in it.
You said you were going to be polite around there.
I am being polite, but you're taking over here. Yap.
Quit asking questions.
Well, okay. I have to tell you, we have some great sponsors. We have some great partners.
Yeah, we do have partners after all that big rant about not having sponsors.
We got tons of them. We got more coming up. But first of all, we need to take a little time and thank our sponsors and talk about them a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know one in particular is a fantastic place. That's HQ Studio in Fairview Mall, St. Catharines, otherwise known as Hairquarters.
Yes.
Now, it's a premier hair salon. And at Hairquarters, they specialize in offering a comprehensive array of hair services. You want to look like anything in particular, they can make you look like Britney Spears, they can make you look like Dolly Parton. They can make you look like anything you want.
They're the professionals.
Skilled stylists, trained in hair coloring, cutting, design, techniques, always available. They don't just say, sit in the seat and we're going to cut your hair.
Yeah.
They want to ask you. They want to consult with you and advise you. Now, in addition to exceptional hair services, Hair Quarters also provide makeup enhancement services. Now, that might mean lengthening your hair with quality extensions or elevating your eye appeal with eyelash extensions to enhance your natural beauty. You're going to come out looking much better than before you went in. That's for sure when you go to Hair Quarters. So experience everything today at HQ Studio. They're open 7 days a week, by the way. Check out their website, hair extensions, all kinds of great stuff. And staff is talented, professional, led by a couple of great people that have been running this now for 42 years. Natalia Morlichetti and her husband, Joe. Happy 42nd anniversary. Wow. So check it out, Hair Quarters in the Fairview Mall, also up in Bracebridge. So if you happen to be up in Muskoka, stop up to Bracebridge and check out Hair Quarters.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like when you go on vacation that you can still get the Hair Quarters.
That's right. Get it the way you want it.
Yeah.
SixPackRecruitingSports.com, and next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, the Friday after, I'm going to be bringing in Dale Ann Melnick. She's going to be in here in person.
Right.
And she's the recruiter for universities. That process to go to university and to get recruited as an athlete can be kind of stressful when you're looking for an academic or an athletic scholarship. Dale Ann Melnick will support student athletes with their college or university journey. Find out more at sixpackrecruitingsports.com. Get Dale's number right off that site. Give her a call.
Yeah.
And she'll help you. She'll tell you if it's going to work. She'll say, you want to find out if you're good enough to take it one step further or not.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll guide you along the way. And if she decides to work with you, well, you're pretty well guaranteed that you're going to find a spot in some major university, University of Florida, or Duke University, or Carleton, or any of the big ones, that have sports in mind. So Dale Ann Melnick's going to be in here with me, sixpackrecruiting.com. And Herndon Estate Winery. These guys are fantastic, aren't they?
Oh, I love her. I love Hernders.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even have to tell everybody I love Hernders because everybody knows.
Yeah.
I preach about it each and every week here on 4680.
Well, you got to mark your calendar down for the 5th of June. They're back with their weekly supper markets, 4:30 until dusk. They got vendors and food trucks and giveaways, entertainment, wine, gelato, all that happening. Some dates available for businesses to sponsor Wednesday and use the tent for their own use to advertise or use it as a client appreciation as well.
Yeah.
But Herndon Estate Wines 2024 markets Wednesdays starting June 5th. Also, they've got something coming up on, three big Sundays, June 23rd, July 21st, and August 18th. 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock in the evening. Herndon Estate Wines, Rhythm and Soul in Niagara Wine Country with Junior Hardy Trio. The big trio is going to be up there entertaining. So sit back with them. Enjoy the sounds of funky Rhythm and Soul by the Junior Hardy Trio. Seating's available, but you can bring your own lawn chairs if you like, and only $10 in advance or $20 at the door for that.
Beautiful.
So there you go. So we got lots more coming on. I was talking to a few more today that are going to be signing up soon. Of course, don't forget about Crystal Ball Beach Cafe and down in Crystal Beach with Robin Bannerman. She's going to be on real soon.
And hold that thought, Pat Porter.
All right.
I got a little trivia question for you.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to name off 4 things, and I want you to tell me what these 4 things have in common. All right, we're going to do a little game show here on the radio.
Game show, okay.
An old school. I know you radio guys don't like this stuff, but that's the way it goes.
Not everybody doesn't like it. I like that stuff.
Abigail and the Monkey Man, Kung Fu Panda, Shrek 2, Ghostbusters, Godzilla, Civil War, First Omen, Late Night with the Devil. These are all movies, Pat Porter. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know where you can see these movies?
Netflix, I don't know what.
You can see these movies at the Skyway Drive-In, Pat Porter. I'm gonna start a little bit early. One of our new sponsors who aren't officially signed yet, but I'm so excited about them.
I talked to him today,
Peter. Yes, Peter.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Peter and the Skyway Drive-In.
Yeah, it used to be Canview Drive-In.
Yeah, which is just on
420 at 406 at Highway 20. Right there. Everybody knows where Canview was. Yeah. It's going to be what's it going to be called now? Skyway.
Skyway Drive-In, Pat Porter, and you can go. I've already posted the link up on my own website, ifmissjmore.com, but you can search out Skyway Drive-In in Fonthill.
All right, so and Peter's going to be on with us for the whole summer, too.
I love it, man, and I love having that as a sponsor, Skyway, and
maybe we'll get free popcorn if we go to the movie.
Go see some movies. Some movies.
You sit in the back seat, I'll sit in the front seat.
If I go to the drive-in,
you going with me?
I doubt it.
Not with me, eh?
No. I would say Ashley or
people walk over to the car, they look in the window and say, "Hey, there's Jay Moore there with Pat Porter.
Yeah.
What's going on in there?"
I mean, there's got to be a show. We should probably have Peter on one of these days because there's got to be a show on people that go to the drive-in and don't even see the movie. You just see fogged out. Maybe it's too X-rated for you, Pat Porter. But,
Hey, I've had my time in the drive-in.
I'm sure.
I know all about it.
Yes.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
That I remember when I was a little kid. I used to go up to the little playground in front, and I'd play on the swing or whatever. On
the swing? Where was this? The swing.
Long before your time. But there were drive-ins, and they had like a little playground right under the screen.
Yeah.
And the kids that get bored, and they don't want to wait for the movie to start.
The parents send them out and go on the swing and
that's right.
Let me get some action in the car.
Tire them out. By the time they get back in the car, put them in the back seat, they fall asleep.
Right.
That's it.
Beautiful.
But I always stayed up because I wanted to see the adult movie that came in second.
Yeah, the second showing.
I wasn't allowed
the late
to see
night
that,
showing.
I'd peek over the front seat, and I'd look at it anyway.
Well, I'm sure you could go watch Ghostbusters and be happy with that.
Ghostbusters, Ray Parker Jr., great song. Anyway, tell everybody who we've got coming on the show today.
Today, Pat Porter on the show from Honeymoon Suite. He's a songwriter. He's a guitarist. He is Derry Grehan.
Oh, yeah.
Grehan. Grehan.
Okay.
Yeah, he's coming up in just a few moments, and we're going to talk to him about the new album Honeymoon Suite put out back in February. It's called Alive.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of his songwriting.
We're going to play that, too,
some
tonight.
of the history of Honeymoon Suite, and just a bunch of Honeymoon Suite chatter.
Yeah.
Pat Porter, I'm interested in as well.
They've been around for a long time.
So it says back to the 80s.
It's one of the Canadian royalty of bands.
For sure.
These guys are
legendary band. And what I find interesting about Honeymoon Suite, and this is something I want to talk to Derry about, is how long, like you say, how long they've been together, but rode the waves of all the different eras of music, and the grunge era, which wiped out their style of music from the 80s, and the 90s took that over, and Honeymoon Suite stuck together, and they're still together today, and they're still touring today.
They are
still putting out albums, Pat Porter, and they do something that not a lot of bands do anymore, and that's the old school videos, which I think helped put them back on the map.
Yeah.
Back when Much Music and MTV were alive.
Right.
Yeah,
we'll talk to Bill Waleczka about that. He'll know all about that.
Yeah, Bill Waleczka.
Erica M., both of them been on our shows.
That's right, yeah. So it should be interesting to talk to Derry a little bit later on in the show, Pat Porter.
Well, you want to hear a song to get us in the mood?
Yeah, do you want to play New Girl Now?
Let's see if we got the New Girl
Because New Girl Now is their breakout song, and they were discovered by sending this demo in. This is something that Derry wrote way before he was in Honeymoon Suite.
Oh, he wrote it himself.
He wrote it, and this is before he was in Honeymoon Suite, and he played it for Johnny D, the lead singer. And
Johnny D, he was the co-founder. The band was co-founded by
co-founder.
Johnny D.
He asked if Derry, when they got together, had any originals, and Derry gave him the New Girl Now, and they submitted that to Q107, their homegrown series, where these guys, pick bands, much like Hits FM does Rock Search, same kind of thing. And they got discovered, and then labels started coming out to their shows.
Won first prize in that radio contest.
Damn right they won first prize, yeah.
Got a record deal with Warner Music, and the band came out with their first self-titled album back in 1984. Wow.
You got it, Pat Porter.
I got it.
Yeah, you got it down.
I'm not as dumb as you think I am.
No, you're not as dumb as I am.
Well, there you go.
That's why I have you.
Let's hear New Girl Now. Here's Honeymoon Suite. New Girl Now, 4680Q.ca with the infamous Jay Moore and yours truly, Pat Porter. We couldn't get a hold of Derry. Called him, but he's probably down the hall in the men's room, so he'll call us back.
He'll call us back. Of course he will, yeah.
Derry Grehan, Honeymoon Suite.
Yeah.
Now, a New Girl Now, Derry attended Fanshawe College, and he got a diploma in recorded music production back in the day. And while he was there, he wrote New Girl Now, which would later become one of Honeymoon Suite's biggest hits. People still love to hear that song.
Yep.
Called in all the time for that song.
Of course, still gets radio play today.
Oh, yeah, all the time. So after he moved to Toronto, he hooked up with singer Johnny D back in '82, and together they recruited the other members to form Honeymoon Suite. New Girl Now.
Yeah.
That's the one we were talking about before we played it. That they won the contest at Q107, winning first prize, and got their record deal with Warner Music. Right. And the first album came out back in '84.
Now, isn't Fanshawe College where you went, Pat Porter?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I went there.
So maybe you guys ran into each other.
Well, I was there a little before that.
Oh, okay.
So I went there with Nick Panasico, Sr.
Right, yes.
Yeah, he was my buddy, Nick Panasico. Canada's #1 promo man.
Yeah.
I talk about him all the time.
Yeah, until I got in the business.
So you got in the business?
Yeah, no, I became #1 promo man. Thank you.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. And his son, Jay Panasico, also works with Honeymoon Suite, and he came to Niagara last year and produced a show that Honeymoon Suite was performing in.
That's right. So, they were up in Clifton Hill, were they not?
Yeah. So Jay Panasico and my buddy Nick Panasico Sr., he's the guy that I went to Fanshawe College with, and my college days, I remember a lot of it, not all of it.
Right.
But
yes,
I took the radio, television, and promotion, of course.
Yeah, and I think what Derry took was like a recording course, which I never even thought existed, to be honest with you.
It didn't when I was there.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before, and I think they taught him a bit about business, like as far as even getting in the music business, like producing and whatnot, and
a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff. So that's interesting. I wish they would still have those kind of courses today, because the things that I would find useful no longer exist.
I think you'd probably find a course like that in business or something.
Right, yeah.
But as far as radio, I mean, it's fading. They're not training radio broadcasters.
They're not training.
There's no way to work anymore.
They're not training.
After, Bell Media and Chorus and everybody decided to get rid of everybody.
Wipe everything off the map and go streaming, I guess.
But when I was there, we had a class of 60.
Right.
In the class. And I would say that 10 or 15 were serious about it. And the rest of them were there to party.
Now, isn't it interesting, because I heard from many successful musicians, including Derry himself, that would talk about, when they're breaking into the industry and they start getting picked up by a label, that the management kind of wants you to party and be on the road so that they could take your money, basically. There's a lot of stories about music labels that kind of rip the bands off. And the members of the band kind of got screwed, including Derry will say that himself about Honeymoon Suite, that he wished he had better management. And he says that, some of the band members, when they were drunk or on cocaine or anything in the 80s or 90s, that the management would like that, for them to be like that, so they didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of partying going on back in the 70s and the 70s, 80s, and it kind of stopped after that because they got serious about it.
Yes.
But, the record representatives, for instance, Nick Patasico Sr., he used to be with Elektra.
Okay.
And he was also with Quality Records. Mm-hmm. And so he would travel around to the radio stations with a big trunk of his car full of merchandise. Mm-hmm. And he would give this to the radio stations. Here's albums, vinyl albums. Here's hats and T-shirts and mugs and anything you wanted.
Yeah.
And they'd say, "Can you get me a date?" Well, we'll see what we can do. Yeah. So
really?
Oh yeah. Whatever the radio announcers at that station wanted to get that record played on the radio.
Yes.
They would pretty well bend over backwards just to make sure that...
What an interesting business it was back in the day. I think it's a lot more interesting back in the day than it is now.
Well, I remember Nick was telling me that he used to have to go to the airport and pick up the stars because they'd fly into, say they were playing in Hamilton at Cops Coliseum or somewhere. They didn't drive to Hamilton and park their car and go into the Cops Coliseum.
Yeah.
They had somebody pick them up at the airport.
Yes.
And drive them back, and that was his job.
Yeah.
To go find these people and put them in the back of the car. Usually he got to the airport, loaded them in the car. They were all wasted by that time anyway.
Of course, yeah.
They've been traveling.
Yeah.
So he'd have to kind of feed them coffee, wake them up a little bit.
Yeah, and there was also the old days of the tour bus where you're a band and you're on that tour bus and you're traveling through the States or something and you're in that bubble of, hey, you don't have to drive. Right. You don't have any responsibility. You got to just go up and do your 45-minute set. So guess what? You're getting drunk on that tour bus going to the next town.
Yeah.
More
than drunk. There was other things besides being drunk, that they added to, Hey. I don't want to go into detail, but you can imagine.
But I'm sure you can read Gene Simmons' book at any bookstore.
Gene Simmons, yeah. He was probably one of the guys that were sober about this because he was a businessman.
Very true.
And he knew that his band Kiss was going to make big money if managed well.
Yeah.
But some of these lower-level bands that are hoping for the big time, they're the ones that
look at Motley Crue in the day. The people that were spent time in the whiskey a go-go at all times, drinking Jack Daniels and snorting coke up their nose, and they would do a great hit, but the window eventually closes. Pat Porter.
Well, they get on stage and they don't put on a show that people want to enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. People don't go back.
That's right.
So you have to have your wits about you to get on stage and perform. You can't just stumble up there with your bottle of Jack Daniels.
You really can't. And the thing is, then you got to do this the next night. Yeah. You got to go night after night after night.
Oh, there's our phone.
There it is. There phoning in, Pat Porter.
Let's just see if
I will vamp for time while you do this.
Okay.
Or are you going to play a song?
Whoops.
Who knows what you're going to do?
He hung up.
Great.
Okay, we'll call him back. We'll call you. You talk about whatever you want to talk about.
I think you should go to music, Pat Porter. That's what I think you should do.
We'll play this song, and I'll call him back.
I can't stand the state of confusion.
If it wasn't Derry,
I don't know what's going on.
It might have been maybe Paul Lemire calling in.
No, I think you hung up on Derry. You screwed everything up. He's probably going to call back by the time you play this song.
Yeah, let's just find out.
Can you pull some Honeymoon Suite out of the bin?
Yeah, Honeymoon Suite. And feel it again. 4680q.ca. There's Honeymoon Suite, and feel it again. We've got a special Honeymoon Suite show going on here today, Infamous Jay Moore.
A little bit of a special.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself. Yeah. It's great. It's great to hear some good old Honeymoon Suite.
And Derry Grehan is on with us right now. He's on the phone. Hello, Derry. How you doing?
Hey, guys. What's going on? How are you?
We're feeling good, and you're talking, Derry, to a couple of guys from St. Catharines. That's why we're so pumped up and happy about it to have you on today.
Oh, no.
Yeah, yes,
cool.
Yes. Yes, I used to trip over my Uncle Brendan's Honeymoon Suite records and vinyl. He lived on York Street. I'm from right downtown, and you, of course, haven't been here in quite a long time, but you're from St. Catharines, and our studio actually is right here in Niagara Falls, where Johnny D's from, so it is exciting. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, so the new album, Alive, that's what I'm focusing on anyways, because wouldn't that come out in February? And
February 16th.
Yeah, just came out, and that was Canadian release. Yeah, brand new.
That was right after Valentine's Day, Derry. What were you doing around that time?
Well, I think we were out playing, man. We were doing some shows in February. I don't know if it had anything to do with Valentine's Day.
Okay, all right.
Just the date it came out on. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. It's Honeymoon Suite coming out on Valentine's Day. It all ties in together. What I like, Derry, is the old school video. You went back to a video form, and it's shot right in Clifton Hill. That's how was that? Because I think that's pretty cool. I mean, really, when you think about it, Honeymoon Suite, when you guys came out back in the early 80s, it's kind of like at the time, I don't know when Much Music or MTV was around, but the videos must have been a huge component for Honeymoon Suite back then. And then it kind of feels like a throwback to me for you guys to be doing that in current day for this album.
I know, and that was intentional. And we were looking for a location to do the video for Alive. And Johnny actually suggested, why don't we go back to the Falls, man, and grab a couple of cameras and just walk around, amongst the people and see what happens. So it was a lot of fun and kind of like full circle from when we were there with the Burning in Love video that many years ago.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
How hard is that to shoot? I mean, do you get recognized when you're trying to shoot? Do you get stopped? Like, how hard is that? Because you're right in tourist area.
Yeah, I think people were more looking at us like who are these idiots? But Johnny gets recognized more than me, a few people, but it's mostly people from other countries had no clue what we were doing, which was funny.
You came on, I guess, shortly after Johnny D founded the band. Is that right, Derry?
Yeah, he started the band, and 6 months later I came along when his guitar player left, and kind of worked out.
Yeah, and Brad Bent, what about him?
Brad, he was in the first rendition of Honeymoon Suite, and Mike Langell, Brad Bent, and Donald J. Woods, the bass. I don't know what happened to those guys. They just when I got in, we started rebuilding the band, me and Johnny, and that's when we recruited Ray and Dave and Gary eventually. But just the way it went.
Wow. Now, you started playing piano when you were 11 years old, right?
No, I started piano at 5, actually.
Wow.
Because my dad was
Oh, that's right.
He had a grand piano in the house, and all his kids had to take lessons starting real young, and I hated it, but glad I did. And then he let me start guitar at 11.
All right, so 11 years old with the guitar, but 5 years old on the piano. You have to have help to get up on the piano bench?
No. My feet wouldn't reach the floor, but it was good. It's good instrument to start on, to learn how to read music.
Oh, you learned all the technical proficiencies of it as well, not just to pick up a guitar and bang away.
Right. I already had an understanding of music and chords and scales and stuff. But there's none of that in rock and roll.
No.
That's a different animal.
You like the rock and roll end of it? You like the rock and roll end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. My partner, the infamous Jay Moore, is all into rock and roll.
Oh, I love it, man. I'm a Honeymoon Suite fan, and for me, I love the history of when we've had a number of Canadian bands on here and interviewed them before, and everyone tells me the same story, how they either started in a coffee house in Toronto or they were up north doing the six-nighters and stuff like that, and then had their break. And I kind of find you guys, Honeymoon Suite, is similar to that. Like, how is that? You're one night working in bars and bands, and then you send your stuff into Q107, get discovered by the labels. And how was that transition? Because at some point you must not have been in the bars anymore, and now you're on the road.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when I joined, we were a cover band. It's like you said, we went up and played the Northern Ontario circuit for a year or two, playing covers and sneaking in like New Girl Now and some of the original songs into the set. I mean, we worked, man, but our goal, me and Johnny, was just like, let's get a deal. I know we can do this. So we did the homegrown with New Girl, and it won, and labels came around. We got signed, and it was just so amazing. And then 6 months later, we're on a tour bus going through the U.S., opening for Jethro Tull.
Yeah. Yes.
How'd that feel?
Crazy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. But, it's amazing. It's everything I ever, wanted to do.
Well, Derry, you also opened for a number of other great acts like Heart and ZZ Top and Journey.
Yeah, man. Once it started going, and it was just amazing. The Big Prize album, that amped us up to. That's when we got on the Heart and ZZ Top and Journey tours. It was amazing, man. I was loving it. All these bands that I grew up, listening to and idolizing some of them. It's great.
Well, now shoes on the other foot. Now you're the one being idolized. Does that feel any different to you?
No, man. You know what? At the end of the day, I'm still a fan. I'm a fan of other bands and music. You got to be. And if somebody likes what I do, that's great, because I remember what it was like when I was, looking up to people. And if they're inspired by my playing, that's great, man. It's a real compliment.
It must be a compliment as well. Like, this Honeymoon Suite has been around for so long, but it's sustained so much because you went through many different eras of music. Like, as we all know, it goes cyclical, and you went through the grunge, the rap, and everything, and I'm sure you had your down times, but would you say it's kind of a swinging back now, because now you have the new album, you're back on tour, you're doing things? How is the change in the audience over the different eras?
Well, it's totally, changed. It's totally come back.
Like,
and,
different
the
generations.
grunge era was really tough for not only us, but all the melodic rock bands. We had to wait that one out, man. It was some rough years there, some downtime, but it's come back. The melodic rock has come back. And the audience, well, all of our fans from the 80s now, they're all there with their kids and some grandkids, it's a new generation. So we have the older base that started out with us and make tons of new fans with the kids as well.
Yeah, very true. It's a lot of your music is still on the air here in Niagara.
Oh, all the time. Now, you're talking about...
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I got to say, that's one of the big reasons we're still here is Canadian radio, just still panning like all the hits. It sustains us, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. Now, you were talking about during the 80s, you had a couple of albums that came out. You mentioned The Big Prize and Racing After Midnight. And Honeymoon Suite songs were featured on the television show Miami Vice. How'd that come about?
Well, that was around the mid-'80s and around the Big Prize. Yeah, after Big Prize. So we were on the Warner Brothers, was our label in the States, in L.A., and they had a lot to do with stuff like that. We had a major publisher, and those people worked the catalog, the songs, and somebody, there's probably somebody, music supervisor at Miami Vice, or was ever doing that show, was probably checking our music out and then contacted the label. I don't know how it happened. It's just people working for us, and it just came down the pipe, and they used it. It was amazing.
Well, when you got a good team and you got a good band, you got a huge network that develops, and people from that, they want to be part of your story, and so they drag you into things that are going to actually help you promote yourself and your band even more. Yeah,
it's great, and for me being the songwriter, it's a real thrill for that, or going to getting a placement in a movie or a TV show or something. It all helps the band, man.
You had three SOCAN Classic Awards based on your songwriting. New Girl Now, Burning in Love, and What Does It Take? More than 100,000 plays each back in 2015. on Canadian radio. That's amazing, Derry.
Yeah, go figure. I wasn't expecting that, but who would have thought? But that goes back to what I was saying earlier about Canadian radio, man. It's really great.
Well, you know, I go back a little bit longer than Jay Moore here. A little bit older, a little more experienced, a little wiser than Jay Moore. But I remember back in the day when CanCon first came in, and it was Gord Lightfoot, Anne Murray, Gord Lightfoot, Anne Murray, and you know, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, Canadian music developed into such a force that the 30% was, you know, I mean, we could easily play 50, 60, 75% and still keep the audience because Canadian music really took off. And Honeymoon Suite was a big part of that.
Yeah, it really has come a long way. And that CanCon, I mean, maybe in the beginning it helped some bands, and maybe it wasn't the highest quality in the early days, but man, now some of the biggest artists in the world are Canadian.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. Wow.
Now, you had an accident. No, not you, pardon me, but Johnny D was hit by a car at Lax Airport in Toronto back in '87.
Yeah, that was in L.A., actually.
Yeah.
We were there finishing up the Racing After Midnight record.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to LAX to pick up his girlfriend, and was crossing the road, and came around this lady came down. He came out from behind a bus, and bang! Oh, that was a tough time.
Yeah.
But, you know, he bounced back. It was a long story, but he ended up coming back and finishing his vocals on crutches, you know, in the studio with a cast on his leg.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And shooting a video, too.
Oh,
so,
wow. The band never dies.
We press on, man.
Johnny D, what a trooper. LAX Airport. Well, now, while he was recovering in hospital, you got somebody to kind of help out and fill in. And this guy's very well known. One-time Doobie Brothers member, Michael McDonald. He helped you with the recording sessions.
Yeah, that was crazy. Well, Ted Templeman was producing the Racing After Midnight in L.A., and of course Ted, you know, with the Doobies and Van Halen and all, you know, they're all his best friends. He's worked with them for years. So we had this one song that I was having a little trouble with the lyric, and we had the music down, just couldn't crack the code on the lyric. So he sends it over to Mike McDonald. I'm like, what? He said, man, I'll just send it over to him. Michael comes to the studio the next day with the lyrics all done.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
He stuck around to sing on the track, too, the background vocals. And at one point, I'm out in the studio floor, standing beside Michael McDonald, singing oohs and ahs, background vocals. Yeah. I'm like, am I really here? Crazy.
That's amazing. Derry, one thing that I'm curious about is, I think Honeymoon Suite is the only band, or one of the only bands that have this experience because you've been around so long, but the way business has changed. Is it different now for promoting and marketing back in the day to now, or even producing and putting out an album with all the streaming going on? And I noticed a lot of bands pretty much do weekend gigs where they fly in, fly out. A lot of them doing the casino tours. It's not as heavy, it seems, but the shows are still packed. They're still good, but it just seems like it's so expensive to tour now. Like getting a tour bus and everything could be $100,000. Is it completely different from back in the day when you guys were peaking out with your hits?
Yeah, of course. The whole business has changed since the internet and streaming came in. It's a completely different world than when we started out. There weren't even cell phones and barely email, you know.
Very true,
in some ways, that was fun. Mm-hmm. But we would, in the early days, we would work, especially in the U.S., be on a bus for 3 months, come home for like 2 days, go back, get on another tour on a bus. We were grinding it, but building something.
Yeah.
And now, these days, it's much more sensible. It's, like you say, it's a lot of one-offs, weekend fly-in shows, not long tours really anymore, although once in a while we do get longer ones, and I still like that. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, we've got a Canadian tour coming up next November, cross-Canada tour.
Beautiful. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So
Tell us, Derry, a little bit about your new album called Alive, and the title track from that as well.
The record's called Alive. The first single's called Alive,
and
it's out in Canada now. It was produced by a guy named Mike Crumpus. He was originally from Toronto, and Mike's a very talented producer and guitar player and songwriter. So we started out in Nashville, where he was at the time, and we were down there and cut some bed tracks and wrote songs. Then he moved to England, so Johnny and I had to go to England for a bit and finish our tracks. Anyways, it was a long process because COVID happened right in the middle of it. But finally we got it done, you know. But the length of time actually was good. Gave us a lot of time to sit with the songs, maybe rewrite them and make them the best they could be. And Mike did on the production side, Mike was great because he grew up with Honeymoon Suite, so he didn't try and change us. He just, all the great traditional elements are there, you know, the big choruses, but yet the album doesn't sound dated. It sounds modern and cool, but not like a pop record. I think it holds up with The Big Prize and Racing After Midnight. I think it's that good.
I believe it is, too. I've been blasting it in my car for days. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, it's got a great production.
It really does. Derry, did you do anything on your own? Because I see somewhere I've seen that you maybe had an instrumental coming out.
I do. I have a solo album coming out soon. It's going to be called Dirty Power.
That's
cool.
And
it's done. I'm just doing the artwork and the cover and the credits right now, trying to pull all that together. Hope to have that out this summer. And it's like 9 tracks of just instrumental, all guitar, no vocals.
I like that.
Like kind of like a Joe Satriani type thing. So it's a nice, fun little side thing, and some cool stuff on it, I think.
Yeah, I really like that. It's not very often you hear an album just guitar, pretty much, or instrumental. Yeah, an instrumental album. That's cool. That's super cool.
Derry, do you like touring as well as you like recording and writing? What do you like better, or is it all the same to you?
I like it all. I like the balance of it. I play every day. I write pretty much every day, at least something. And but I also still really love to go out and do shows because we don't play year round. So mostly busy in the summer.
Yeah.
I love the travel. It's a little tough, but the best couple hours is on stage at night. And then when I come home, I write and I record and. Yeah, I like it all.
Always working.
So, Derry, when you were 5 years old and your father made you learn piano, you weren't allowed to play the guitar until you were 11. Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that this is where you'd be ending up with Honeymoon Suite, many years down the road?
Well, I mean, I always wanted to. That was my goal.
Yeah.
But it took a few years to find that, I ended up in Toronto at one point without a gig, just kicking around trying to find another band to play with. And fortunately, I got hooked up with Johnny, who was looking for a guitar player. So it's just luck, perseverance, and finding the right guy. I needed a singer, basically, because that is the magic sauce of any band, is a great front man with that voice. And I had some songs, so we finally had those elements, in order to build the band on that. If you look at any big band, that seems to be what they have, and it took a while.
Yeah,
worked out.
Yeah, it must have been hard back in the day, as like I said, compared to now. I keep making those comparisons, but really, like, you're trying to break out. Where now you could just throw something on YouTube and hope for the best. But like you said, like you're trying to play the bars, make a break for yourself. It must have been a rough go for any band back in the day.
In the beginning?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're young and you're having a good time,
Of course.
You're meeting girls, you're playing every night.
Yeah.
You don't have, that's all you're making $200 a week, you don't care. you got some beer and you're meeting some girls and playing bars, but it was all a means to an end. We were always looking ahead. The next
one
thing.
Step ahead. Going back to when you were just young, let's move ahead to when you were 17 years old. You had your first single come out with a band called Stitch, right?
Holy crap, you've done your homework.
So tell us how that felt to you to get your very first single out at the age of 17.
Yeah, well, again, I was determined, and when I was still living in St. Catharines, in high school, I started putting bands together, writing terrible songs, but, you know, we found a little manager, and he got us a recording session in Toronto, and that's, I don't know, it wasn't very good, and
it was good for you, though. You loved it, didn't you?
Oh, for me, it was a thrill to get into the studio. I mean, when I was a kid, you remember a band called Bull Rush from St. Catharines?
Yeah.
I mean, they were like rock stars to me, you know, and because they were a little older than me, but playing the clubs, and then they went up to Toronto and made a record, and I thought, wow, that is rock star stuff, man. I want to do that.
Yeah, right. I like the comment you've made about the girls, because that's one thing, and people, they don't want to mention that, but I mean, that's a big part of being a rock star, is the fact that you can stride into, backstage area, or women are just jumping around like the Beatles, you know. There's Derry.
Yeah.
No, there's Derry. You know?
Well, not in the beginning, no, but most guys, they probably pick up the electric guitar so they could meet girls, you know.
Right.
And, you know, or getting a band to meet girls, because I was a nerd. I didn't play football or anything, but that wasn't the main focus. It was just part of the fun, you know. And you gotta write songs for young ladies, because that's what the market is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Women listen to the lyrics. They want to hear the lyrics, and the men listen to the music. But I mean, you get a good lyric going, and the women fall in love with it. And they know every word, and you get on stage. And did you ever look out at the crowd and find that they're all singing along to your songs?
Oh, totally. Every night, man. It's really great.
That's kind of a trip, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Wow.
I think the coolest thing, I'm just going to mention this before we let you go, Derry. I think the coolest thing is this guitar, your signature guitar, this Godin guitar with the tire mark on it, is, I think, my favorite thing about you, to be honest with you. I think it looks cool. Like, how did that go about? How do you feel about that? Because it looks damn cool.
Oh, I feel great.
Yeah.
I mean, that started with the first original one that I painted back when we were doing Racing After Midnight record.
Yeah.
And actually rolled a real tire over the guitar to paint it. And, so that was just a mutt. I put it together from parts and had it for years. Kind of became a signature thing. And then about 3 years ago, Godin up in Montreal approached me about doing a signature model, which I've kind of always wanted to do, but never had the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
But we worked it out, and it's really sweet. This one they put out.
Yeah,
I play them every night.
I love that. I love that.
Guitars.
It's kind of a testament for, you know, you had your nose to the grind, like you say, you were determined. You guys got this band going. It's still going today. We love it, and still touring, and the music is great. And just to top it off, you got your own guitar. I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a real compliment. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Right, Jay, infamous Jay Moore, myself, Pat Porter, Derry, we want to thank you, Derry Grehan, for coming on with us. I told you I'd keep you for about 10 minutes, and we got you here almost for more, better part of an hour.
So. You stretched it a little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I was late, so we're good.
We're going to get your new song out here now, Live by Honeymoon Suite. How's that sound?
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to mention, Pat Porter, honeymoonsweetband.com, because the boys are going back on tour, and that's where you can get information on the album and everything else. And,
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, and go to our web store is called merchinmotion.com.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that's where everything is.
Beautiful. Derry, I really appreciate you coming on the air with us today.
Oh, thanks. Great talking with the couple of St. Catharines boys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Cool.
Derry, thanks very much. We'll talk to you again. We'll see you. We'll be the ones waving to you when you're up on stage, and say who.
All right, guys.
Those guys down there. Good, Derry. Thanks for taking the time. Let's play Alive by Honeymoon Suite here at 4680q.ca. Thank you, Derry.
Thank you.
Got a lot of noise in my head, don't lose control.
That is Alive. That is brand new. That's off the album called Alive, title track. Brand new from Honeymoon Suite. And we talked to Derry Grehan, infamous Jay Moore.
Yeah, great guest.
Yeah.
Another one in the bucket list.
It's going to be a podcast. If you missed any part of the show, give it a day. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, but it'll be available on podcast on YouTube. And I think we'll put this up on 4680Q as well.
Yeah, we'll get this one up there. And like I said, check out honeymoonsuiteband.com for all their tour dates because they play around in this area quite a bit. The boys are from here. Yeah. This is their home area. This is where Johnny D's from. Yeah. This is where Derry is from. And, hey, they keep rocking. The new album is great, just like Derry was saying. It's kind of like a throwback to the old days, but it's moderned up a bit, and I enjoyed it. What did you think of that last song, Alive?
I love it. Yeah. I love it.
I absolutely
love it. The production, the music, all of it. It was great.
It was beautiful. So shout outs to Derry Grehan, and thank you, my man. And I guess we're about end of time. Do you want to talk about Friday?
About what's coming up Friday?
Yes.
Friday at 3 in the afternoon. I know you're going to be busy on Friday, but I invite you to call in because I want you to talk to the guys that we're going to have on. We're going to be talking to Pink Floyd Niagara.
Right.
And we're going to have a couple of the members in the studio here with me on my Friday show.
Now, let me guess.
3 o'clock. Okay.
Let me guess.
Okay, yeah, go
One
ahead.
of them is going to be Jen Downey.
How'd you guess that?
I knew it. You always take Jen Downey. You always steal her as a guest, and I knew you would have Jen Downey.
She's eye candy.
Yeah.
Not only that, but she's a fantastic singer. And she really adds a lot to the group, Pink Floyd Niagara.
One of the best female vocalists in the area, yeah.
Three chorus female vocal backup.
Yep.
Great band.
Shout outs to Jen Downey. Who else is coming in?
Alan Kolovecchia, the drummer.
Okay. All right.
He's coming in. They're coming in, both of them together. They're gonna talk all about what they're doing. They're gonna talk about their big show that they did last Monday, the Eclipse show.
Yeah, one of the wineries, I believe. Yeah.
Southbrook Winery.
Yeah.
So
Niagara Lake.
Sold out days before it even came on the agenda.
Now on Saturday, Pat Porter, I'm back on the air at 3 o'clock, and I have nothing planned.
Right, I know you'll come up with
tune into that.
If you don't, yes, Saturday, 3 o'clock. It's called the infamous Jay Moore Show.
Yeah,
with Pat Porter.
InfamousJaymore.com is where you get all the information on everything, our shows, our sponsors, all the write-ups on everything. Shout-outs to Neo Pro Wrestling. We had a great show over the weekend. And go neopro.ca for the June 9th show. Showtime Eric Young coming back into town versus Tarek for the Grand Independent Championship. And blah, 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 blah.
But you know what else?
Yeah.
You know what else? I forgot.
What?
I was talking about the Saturday show. If you don't have a guest on, it's going to be you and I picking at each other for an entire hour.
I will work on a guest, but I really wanted to get past this Honeymoon Suite, Derry Grehan, and some other business that I was doing with Neil.
I know you got some others lined up.
And I kind of just put Saturday on the back burner, but today is only Tuesday. I have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to get a guest.
People are going to be begging you to come on
the
show.
I will deliver, Pat Porter.
I know you will.
I will deliver.
I know.
I will deliver.
You're known for your delivering. You are the manager of champions.
And I mean, if it comes down to wrestling, on the 27th of this month, the CWF is at their new studio with a show. I may have somebody from the CWF in.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I may have somebody from them in, or I might have a band in. I might have, I don't know. I might have your wife in, Pat Porter. I don't know who I'll have in. I'll have somebody.
Good luck with that.
I'll take strangers from the Queen Street. I'll do it. I'll do it all. If Paul Lemire can do it, I can do it, Pat Porter.
We got to thank one more time our sponsors. Headquarters in Fairview Mall in St. Catharines and also in Bracebridge. And we want to thank Herndon Estate Winery. We want to thank Six Pack Recruiting, of course, in Crystal Beach, helping your students. And we've got all the new sponsors that are coming on soon that we'd like to mention. And we'll do that on Friday and
Absolutely.
Saturday.
We're going to keep on pounding away with the sponsors because we love our sponsors and we love each and every one of you, Pat Porter.
We love you too, Jay Moore.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to turn things over to the Rick Rose playlist. We'll catch you Friday afternoon, 3 o'clock, Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here at 4680Q.ca.